After 15 years of shared life, my wife dressed with care for an evening out, preparing to meet her hidden lover. She leaned in close and whispered, "James, tonight I want to feel wild and truly alive." Unaware of my discovery, I had already packed her belongings and fitted new locks on our home. At the same time, her lover's wife waited at a restaurant, gripping divorce papers, ready to face them both. For over a decade and a half, Emily and I had built what seemed like a perfect life. We raised 2 children, shared laughter over family dinners, and weathered the ups and downs of our partnership. Yet, a quiet shift had crept into our existence. The warmth we once held dear had faded, replaced by secrecy. Late nights at work, hushed phone calls, and the soft glow of her phone in the darkness had eroded the intimacy we once shared. The change in Emily was almost immediate to my perceptive eyes. I couldn't ignore the subtle differences in her behavior. When I pressed her for answers, her responses were vague, filled with half-truths and deflections. As the cracks in our relationship deepened, doubts swirled in my mind. Was she unhappy? Was someone else stealing her away? Rather than confront her outright, I tried to convince myself it was a passing phase, a challenge we'd overcome as we always had. But Emily's desire to reclaim her youth and recklessness was about to plunge us into a storm of deceit, heartbreak, and an unforeseen twist that would alter our lives forever. As I continued to notice small changes in Emily's actions, my suspicions grew stronger. She lingered over her phone, her face brightening with secretive smiles she never shared. She began dressing with meticulous attention, offering no explanation for her sudden care and appearance. These quiet clues ate away at me, each one a subtle alarm. The tipping point came one evening when I overheard a whispered conversation. Though the words were unclear, the intimate tone was unmistakable. A quick glance at her phone later revealed a message that confirmed my worst fears. Unable to confront her right away, I sank into a quiet turmoil of doubt. I started tracking her movements. Errands that took too long, unexplained absences, hours she couldn't account for. Each piece added to my growing unease, forming a clear picture of betrayal. The more I watched, the more certain I became that something was deeply amiss. I knew I had to uncover the whole truth, no matter how painful it might be. Sitting alone in our living room, I reflected on the 15 years Emily and I had shared, the love we'd fostered, the family we'd created. The weight of heartbreak was heavy, but I resolved to stay calm and strategic. A heated confrontation would only lead to chaos. Instead, I chose to act with careful precision. In that moment of clarity, I made a shocking discovery. Emily's lover was also married. This realization sparked a plan. Instead of facing Emily alone, I reached out to her lover's wife, believing that together we could expose the full extent of their deception and hold our spouses accountable. With a plan forming, I steeled myself for what was to come, my heartache giving way to a quiet determination. Emily's infidelity was now undeniable, and I set my strategy in motion. I waited for the right moment, which came as she prepared upstairs for her secret rendezvous. Unaware of the storm gathering below, she spent an hour perfecting her look for the man she thought she'd meet. Meanwhile, I began my own preparations, carefully packing her possessions into suitcases, each item a quiet farewell to the life we'd built together. I placed them neatly by the front door, a stark symbol of our marriage's end. Then I changed the locks on every door, ensuring that when Emily returned, this home would no longer be her haven. Each turn of the new locks echoed through the silence, a testament to my resolve to protect myself and our children from further hurt. With everything arranged, I took the final step to ensure Emily's night of excitement would become her ultimate reckoning. I contacted her lover's wife, a conversation that felt both strange and liberating. As we talked, we discovered we'd both been grappling with similar suspicions, each stung by the betrayal in our marriages. We agreed to confront our spouses together at the restaurant where they planned their secret meeting, united in our quest for truth. As the minutes ticked by, a strange calm settled over me. The burning pain that had once overwhelmed me had transformed into unwavering determination. I knew the aftermath would be chaotic, but in taking control, I found an unexpected sense of closure. The night of confrontation arrived. Emily, oblivious to the turmoil awaiting her, radiated excitement. She spent hours selecting her outfit, dressing with a vibrancy I hadn't seen in years. Her enthusiasm was evident, though she hid it behind weak excuses about a supposed event. As she prepared to leave, she turned to me with a playful smile and murmured, "I need to feel wild and alive tonight." Her words hit like a dagger, but I kept my emotions in check, meeting her gaze with a calm, knowing stare. When the door shut behind her, I stood still, watching through the window as she drove off, my mind flooded with memories of our shared joys, struggles, and love. In an instant, 15 years unraveled, but I remained steadfast, committed to my plan. At the restaurant, my strategy unfolded with chilling accuracy. Emily's lover arrived first, expecting a romantic evening. Instead, he was met by his furious wife, divorce papers in hand, her voice cutting through the room and drawing curious stares from nearby diners. What was meant to be a night of passion turned into a public spectacle. Moments later, Emily entered, her face glowing with anticipation. But as she took in the scene, her lover cornered by his enraged wife, her excitement faded. She stood rooted to the spot, the fantasy she'd crafted for the evening shattered. The thrilling escape she'd imagined had become a humiliating ordeal, with her at its center. While Emily's world fell apart in that restaurant, I waited at home in silence. I knew she'd soon return to find her suitcases by the door, and the locks changed. My phone soon lit up with frantic messages, pleas, apologies, then desperate attempts to win me back. I ignored them all, my focus now on the future she'd broken. Though the pain of betrayal lingered, I realized this moment marked the start of a life free from deception. Exposing Emily's affair wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming my self-respect, finding closure, and refusing to let betrayal define me. Though I'd lost 15 years of marriage, I'd gained something far greater: the freedom to rebuild on my own terms. Sometimes, the most painful truths pave the way for the strongest resolve.